Okay, so hey, welcome to the Stormfront Freaks podcast Raw. This is Raw because you are watching the recording of our audio podcast, and we don't cut anything out of this raw recording. It's raw for a reason, but you get to catch all the good stuff. Certainly, shout out to all of our Patreon members. If you're joining us live, don't forget to let us know you're here in the comments. So that we know you're around. If you got any questions, we've got Tevin Wooten in the house tonight for episode 169. So first time that Tevin's on the show, so it's pretty cool. Excited about that. Woo-hoo.
And if there's ever an episode that you want to watch raw, it's this one. MJ's not here, and Phil's doing the production.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It definitely could be raw, but. All right, so here's what we'll do, Tevin. Here's how we do this. I'm going to do just kind of a quick teaser opening that we're going to cut into the beginning of the audio podcast.
Cool.
And then I'm going to do a little opening. We're going to introduce, the co-hosts that are here tonight.
Wow.
Cheers.
I almost did my Stein, and I need to do that.
So we're going to introduce the co-hosts, Tevin, and we do that by finding out what everybody's drinking.
Okay.
And so this serves two things. Number one, it serves the ability to put a voice to a name for everybody just listening to us, that because most people listen to us, don't watch us.
Yeah.
And then the second thing it does is lets people know we're a kind of a fun weather podcast. we don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to have a good time. So I understand you're at work, so if it's a coffee or bottle of water, I get it. That's fine. But you can join us in spirit. How's that sound?
I will join your spirits in spirit.
There we go. So so we're going to quick introduce our co-hosts, and then Maz, you've got Tevin's introduction.
Yes, sir.
You can start with the first question, and we'll do questions till about, 20, 25 after. Okay. And then we'll take a quick break before we come into the second segment.
Gotcha. Just to let you know, Tevin, the first question deals with Chippendales. I'm just giving you.
That's it. That would be a new one, Tevin.
Way to set the tone.
We haven't got that question yet.
Can I plead the fifth at any point of this?
Of course you can.
Sure.
Yes.
You always can. Okay, so you have any questions, Tevin? Otherwise, you sound good, look good.
Nope, ready to rock and roll.
Looks like you're ready to roll. Okay. I am going to... Dan, I'm going to send you back.
And Phil, does my audio
Angela's
sound okay? I cut off my camera.
Yeah, you do. You sound fine. Did you do a speed test just to see what your speed was?
No, but I think the issue is I've got a couple big files on here, like projects I was working on, so I shut those down, and I think it should work itself out. But I turned off my camera just in case.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That'll work. Everybody ready to roll?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. And by the way, how does everybody sound? Because I can't control.
I think everyone sounds good.
Do
tonight.
I sound okay compared to everybody else too?
Yeah, you actually sound really good, Phil.
All right.
Really,
You sound great, Phil.
Now nobody sounds as good as Serena. Let's be totally honest.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Kevin, have you ever been to one of those websites?
Serena, I was just going to say your mic does sound like very perfect, almost like I'm in the studio or something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lord.
Thank you. And hey, Phil, you're the one that got this mic for me.
Yeah, it's funny. I got that for you, and yet I'm using one that apparently sucks ass. So I don't know. Wow. What? But here we go. Do the teaser. Coming in 3, 2. Hey, Storm Freaks, it's Phil. You may remember seeing him on the Weather Channel, but now he's a meteorologist with NBC Boston. We've got Tevin Wooten in the studio. We're also bringing you hashtag Weather Fools, and Weather Trollbot 5000 is back to do some more nasty interpretations. All of this on episode 169 of the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Woo,
all right,
Phil.
let's do it. Let's do it for real.
A+ for energy.
Okay, coming in 3, 2. Hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast. Special thanks, as always, go out to our Patreon teammates that help support the show. Also, a shout out to those that are joining us live tonight. I'm going to check. Looks like we got Josh Burnham back there in the studio. And then in our green room, of course, we've got Dan and Angela are here as well. You can also experience Stormfront Freaks Raw if you join our Patreon team. We've got multiple levels of perks. We've got exclusive merch like the 2021 Stormfront Freaks Storm Chaser shirt that I know we just sent to Angela. Or we also have some new aluminum water bottles. We sent those out to Dan and Tim. Or you can even become a VIP and join us and our guests in the studio for every recording. We currently actually have one spot open. You can find that at patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks. It's always happy hour every night that we're doing the show, and Tevin, we just kind of filled him on that as well, but he's at work, so he's joining us in spirit. But we're going to find out who's drinking with us tonight. Lets you know who's in the studio with our co-hosts. Greggles up in Canada, our storm chaser and photographer. What are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm getting back into the swing of things, Phil, and I'm drinking a little Canadian whiskey and Coke. And yeah, it's 2 weeks now in a row that I'm back off the wagon. So that's
congratulations.
Good.
Good for you. All right, we're going to go to Serena Arnold, our former meteorologist at the Mount Washington Observatory and still reigning Mrs. New Hampshire. Woo! What are you drinking, Serena?
I brought the weather beers back. I went shopping this morning.
Yeah.
That was a good choice. So I am drinking a beer from Frost Beer Works called Micro.
Ooh.
What time do the bars open in the morning there, Serena?
9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Good. All right. Jen Watson, our contributor at the Weather Channel. Jen, what are you drinking?
Oh my gosh, I'm drinking 2 shots of tequila, a shot of vodka, and a little dash of sparkling water and a lime. Exactly. You can see it. I'm showing you guys. You can clearly see it.
I think the last one's true.
I've actually
I think the last one's true.
I know. I'm taking it easy because I've got a shoot tomorrow. So yeah, I got a weather shoot. So
there's always a reason. Always a reason.
Allison, I said hi, by the way.
Would you say, Tevin?
Tell Allison I said hi, by the way.
I will.
Very nice. And then Maz Mark Massaro, our former on-camera meteorologist. What are you drinking, Maz?
Not because of a drinking problem, I'll tell you. I am having a Fireball whiskey and Diet Coke because I got to watch my waist. You know?
Really?
That's the Diet Coke.
Not bad.
That's a good drink.
Spicy, hot.
That's a
All
solid.
right, I'll tell you what. I am going to leave it with you. Let's get our guest in here.
Awesome. Hey, we have meteorologist Tevin Wooten, who joined NBC 10 Boston in June of 2022. He holds the Certified Broadcast Meteorologist Seal of Approval from the American Meteorological Society and is an Emmy Award winner. Now, most recently, Wooten was named to Forbes' 30 Under 30 list in the media category. Prior to Boston, Wooten spent 4 years as an on-camera meteorologist with the Weather Channel. And during his time there, Tevin covered major weather events, including Hurricanes Florence, Michael, Laura, and Delta. Yeah, Tevin is an advocate for bringing diversity to STEM discipline and providing communities of color with access and awareness to broadcast meteorology. Welcome, Tevin. You got to tell me. I was on the 80 under 80 list, but you tell me about tell me the 30 under 30.
Well, other than the obvious there, we're slightly younger. I think we're just as attractive, though, as the 80 under 80 crowd. A little bit more pep in our step, though, when it comes to knowing how to party. But that's probably, although the Fireball and whiskey, I don't know, you got me beat there because I've got coffee over here. But that's honestly one of my favorite, I guess, resume lines or sort of awards that I've been given in such a short time. I'm almost not 30, so I'm almost not qualified for that list anymore. So I'm glad I was able to squeak in some sort of way just before, the stroke of midnight.
So how do you get on this list? I mean, obviously you got to be good looking like you, and but I mean, like, who judges? What do they do? How does
Maz, stop it, Maz. You're not qualified.
So it's a very it's a secretive process, and I think it's secretive not because I want it to be. I have no idea, what the process entails to the full extent. But I know that I was nominated. I don't know by who or how many people, for that matter. But I know that there's the application, that my portion that I had to fill out was some sort of extensive, answering questions about what all that you do, who you are, your education, your background, what you hope and what you aspire to be. I think one interesting question was, if you could talk to someone living or dead, who would you, or who, if you could have a drink or something like that with someone living or dead, who would you have a drink with? And forgive me for not remembering exactly, but I think I filled in the application like the night before the little response or whatever, the night before it was due. So my memory is not the best, obviously late at night or early in the morning for that matter, but it's a great honor. I was so thrilled to go down to New York City and meet some of the other, I guess, listees or awardees and honorees who were on the list as well. We had a banging good time there in New York. And I honestly, if anyone is listening right now and maybe they're sub 30 and they're thinking about what they want to do with their life, I would seriously look at that list of people and model your life, or model your potential business, be it an entrepreneur or your future, your career path. Model it after a lot of the young folks on that list, but also off the list too. There are a lot of people who don't make that list, obviously, who are just as deserving. So,
What do you mean by that? You said you're looking at me when you said that.
oh, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at my camera.
Oh, yeah, it feels like you're looking right at me.
I'm
So
looking right into your soul.
When you found out, what'd you do? When you did, like, you opened the letter, did you get the call, and then you're like, I knew it,
So
or you're like, son of a
that part,
gun.
that part I do remember. So there was a tweet actually from someone in the industry, a colleague who used to work at the Weather Channel, now works at NBC in New York, and one of his colleagues, one of his direct colleagues from New York, was also on the list, and so he grouped us in the same tweet and said, "Oh, congratulations to this person and this person. Oh, and Tevin, you made the list as well." And I'm like, "Oh, that's fantastic." Granted, I think I had just gotten off of a late shift, so I woke up early in the morning. I'm like, "All right, that's pretty cool." And I still don't think, I don't know, and maybe it was the sort of the aftermath of the pandemic, or maybe it's just because I think it's more of the expectation for myself, list or not. I think there's so much more to life than that list, that it's a great honor, and I am more than willing to accept such honor. But I don't want that to be the thing I'm known for.
So it sounds
Tevin,
like
do you go ahead,
Nope.
Serena?
all
Nope.
you
Okay.
go.
I was just gonna say, did they, when you got the award and then you go back to work on the Monday morning kind of thing, like, do they have a different, like, have they installed a new chair for you? Do you have like, did you get an
Yeah.
assistant? Do they, like, is
So-
there?
So this was,
Yeah.
so it was actually, I'm glad you asked that question. It was actually like I had my own parking space, sort of like employee of the month. I had my own parking space. There was this red carpet. So when you got off the elevators and walked into the building, there was a red carpet back at my old place of employment. I think there was a significant pay bump as well for making the list too.
Right. You
No, I'm
sound
just kidding.
totally, you
None
sound
of these-
totally real right now.
None of these things actually happened, sadly. But I know that they and so many other people, family members, have obviously been more proud of me because of that list. So it really was pretty cool for that to sort of be the thing that happened last year for me.
That's pretty awesome. So you say, so that's a cool honor, but you want to be known for something else. And
Yeah.
as someone who does a lot of STEM outreach, I'm kind of wondering if that's along the lines of what you want
Yeah.
to be known for and what you do mostly.
Yeah, I think so, Serena. Like, gosh, I don't know exactly when. Actually, yes, I can trace it back to maybe not that long ago. I did not know a Black meteorologist, and I know that that sounds so small to hear, but it means a lot to know that just by being who I am and doing my role and being in my role and doing it to the best of my ability, I know that there are tons of people out there who can aspire to be something greater than their wildest imagination, just by doing what I'm doing and setting a good example. And I don't take that part for granted whatsoever.
No,
Do you
that's
get
awesome. That's so
do you get a lot
so
of
great
people
to hear.
reaching out to you where they're
Do I
like,
get?
hey, Kevin, dealing with that where they're like, hey, how did you do it? How can I do it?
I think I don't want to say a lot. I'm still young but there's a decent amount of people who ask, and I'm flattered every time. But it really does go back to one of my life's principles has been extraordinary because life is too short for ordinary. Um, Anyone can be ordinary every single day that you wake up, but be it a meteorologist or a doctor or an attorney or a basketball player or an engineer or someone who picks up the trash or someone who works on the city council or an electrician, a teacher. We're only given so much time on this earth. Why not spend it doing something to the fullest extent, and becoming the best person in that role that you can be? So I really want kids to pick that up. I think when people ask, like, how did I do it? It took a lot of sacrifice financially, time. Personally, it took a lot of sacrifice. There was a lot of lonely nights. There were a lot of nights where I'm like, okay, I think I have $5. How long can I make that stretch for a couple of days, And so there were a lot of dollar menu items at Taco Bell and McDonald's and Burger King too. It feels like, yeah. Oh, but it took sacrifice. I think that's one big thing that I would tell people if you want to be like me. I mean, I don't necessarily think you should just want to be like me. You should be better than me. I'm not the best person.
How's your cholesterol, by the way, after all?
So who asked that? Phil, did you ask that?
No,
Yes,
Mom,
it was
that-
Phil.
Oh,
Yes, it was Phil.
only because I saw him rooting me on when I said the McDonald's dollar menu. I think it's pretty good. My doctors haven't said otherwise, but I'll tell you, I didn't work out until I was like 19, maybe 18 like legitimately working out and running. I have asthma. I always keep an inhaler with me. So I was very shy to actually working out because I didn't want to overstretch my body and then something happened. But now I'm working out almost like 3 or 4 times a week at best, sometimes 2, sometimes 1, like whatever I can do in the limited time. It's better than doing nothing. So
Yeah, I get that.
Gregos, by the way, you're a Canadian whiskey and Coke, man. I'm a bourbon guy myself. So
Right on,
But
right? Hey,
right now it's just coffee in the cup. So no bourbon.
What's your bourbon, though? What's your bourbon?
Oh, it's straight Jack.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Tevin, like you're talking about, and like Serena's question, I think was the right question, right? At a certain point, it's about STEM and it's about the science and it's about being the best meteorologist you can be and all of those things. And obviously, simply for the fact of the color of your skin, you're going to be a role model for young kids, right?
Yeah.
But do you ever long for like that moment where like somebody just goes, man, that guy's a good meteorologist, right? Like, listen, if you're a good meteorologist, like you're in the top like 1%
30,
already,
30,
right?
Yeah, 30.
But is that like a kind of a like in the back of your mind, like a goal is just to be a freaking damn good meteorologist?
Yeah, I think so. No one wants to say you're a bad meteorologist, right? Like, who wants to hear that?
No, they're
crap?
all bad meteorologists. Don't let anybody tell you any different.
No.
They're wrong 80% of the time.
Oh, Greg,
And
you
we
hush.
still get paid. You know who
And
else
you
is
still get
wrong
paid.
80% or 50% of the time? Basketball players. Their efficiency, their free throw percentage. Baseball players, their accuracy. I mean, and they get paid millions and millions of dollars, man. So I always pull that one out. I don't think.
Yeah, point taken. Point taken.
Sounds like you practiced it. Yeah.
Oh, you have to. You get told
Yeah.
every day that you're wrong 50 to 80% of the time. And even then, no one's proven to me that 50 to 80%. So no, but to your point, hearing that you are doing a good job, I think that's validating or reassuring or whatever superlative you want to attach to that. But I take it, I cherish it. I put it in the back pocket, but I don't put it in front of me because the driver is not you're doing a good job. The driver is me knowing I'm doing a good job, right? Because for every one person that says we're doing a good job, and I say we because we are a visual medium on TV, there are dozens of people who think you do it terrible. Or actually, let me reverse that. For every one bad comment, there's 12 good comments, but you don't always hear the good comment.
Right.
So it's
Totally.
great to take it, put it in your back pocket and hold on to it, but not put it in the front of yourself. That's in your rear view. So the next person can tell you you're doing a good job.
That totally makes sense. So Tevin, I have to brag about you a little bit too, because I was actually part of your interview process when you applied at the Weather Channel, which was so much fun. I was, and watching you, because we interviewed a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I think you're one of the youngest to ever join the Weather Channel. Did you come straight from college, or were you at a local station and then came? Remind me really quick.
Yo, so that's yes and no to both. So I came straight from Florida State to the Weather Channel. There was an internship involved pre going on full time. So that's sort of how they knew about me. And by the way, that internship is not easy to get. I can tell you more about that if you ever want to know. But before that, and I mentioned sacrifice, before that, I went to school at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville. I went to school for engineering. And I was there for a semester in engineering, and I didn't hate it. I had internships before with NASA, and I had done a couple of STEM camps with the university and their engineering program. I didn't hate it, but as I sat in the classroom, I'm like, I don't think this is what I want to do with my life. Sure, they make a lot of money, and maybe they're right or wrong 50% of the time. I'm sure they're right more often than not, though, because if you deal with civil and architecture, there's a lot of money to be tossed around if you're wrong in lawsuits. But for me, I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. And so I diverted over to the journalism school there, the Lemke journalism program there at the University of Arkansas. And I stepped into their student media production called UATV. And I just loved it. I fell in love with being able to be on camera, which is atypical from what I was initially used to. I was a very shy kid. I've got a twin brother, and then he was the one that always talked. And now I'm the one that gets paid to talk. So the roles have sort of flipped a little bit. But I went to school for engineering, swapped to broadcast journalism, graduated, worked for 2.5 years in a local affiliate in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Woo Pig Suey, by the way, and decided that if I wanted to do weather full time, I had to commit and I had to sacrifice. And so I packed up my Honda Accord at the time and drove like 12 or 14 hours away. I forget how long it was, probably longer than that. And I moved to Tallahassee, not knowing a soul. And yeah, Florida State, 2 years in and out, meteorology, mathematics minor, and here we are.
What's your twin doing now?
What's my twin do? So my twin brother, his name is Kevin, by the way. Hi, Kevin, if you're watching or listening. He's an electrician, actually. And he still lives in Arkansas. He's former military, though. So it's crazy that like he and I grew apart, but in a way we grew together. He now lives in the home, or not the hometown, but the city that I lived in when I was in Arkansas in college. So, or a couple of towns over, but still in the same region.
Which branch?
Army.
Will you thank him for his service?
I for sure will. If he's not listening, I'll send him a text here in a little bit.
Kevin, thank you if you're listening.
So Tevin, I have to ask you now that we're on the twin thing. As you know, I'm a twin, and we bonded over that. My twin sister, she's not a meteorologist, but she's a weather geek, and she goes storm chasing with me. She's been on a couple of them. Does Kevin go storm chasing with you, or have you been storm chasing?
He has not gone storm chasing with me. I know, but I'm trying to think. He's done a couple of other cool things, like jumped out of planes. With the Army, I've never jumped out of a perfectly good plane before. He's never taken me on his ventures, so I don't take him on mine. The feeling is mutual. We draw the line right down the middle.
I like it. Smooth and clear cut.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't need to be dropping out of a plane to know that, we're still in tropical season.
Captain Segway.
And so it's been a little quiet lately, which has been good. But if you live anywhere a tropical storm can affect you, you definitely need to make sure that you are prepared, and you don't want the storm to catch you unprepared. So whether your home is wood, concrete, or brick, we trust and recommend Windstorm products for all the hurricane hardware you need for your storm shutters. Windstorm products, they are the world's largest online distributor of hurricane hardware and shutter installation tools. What's really neat is it doesn't matter if you're in New York, doesn't matter if you're down in Galveston, no matter where you are, because they're out of Florida, but they have a flat rate $5 shipping fee to all states. So all you got to do is just visit windstormproducts.com. But folks, do it now, because even though, again, it's been kind of quiet, and I think every time a tropical storm hits, everybody finally starts thinking about it, right? Because they wait and wait and wait and wait, and then they think about it. Well, it's been, wow, how long has it been since Fort Myers Beach?
A month.
Gosh. You don't, people aren't thinking about it now, right?
Yeah.
So folks, you got to act. You got to act now. So go to windstormproducts.com. They are the official supplier of the Stormfront Freaks podcast. So we're going to go ahead and take a break, but we will be right back with more from Tevin.
Woohoo! You guys, I'm going to stay off camera. I wanted to try and get back on, but my computer's just keeps trying to freeze.
All right. You got too much going on that computer. You want to try and restart?
Yeah, I could actually.
While we're on break, why don't you just try and restart? So Tevin, we've got a couple of our VIPs, Dan and Angela. We always give them an opportunity to ask some questions or bring up some questions. And here's usually what happens. They bring up a question that's really good, and we're like, hey, we're going to steal that for the second segment.
Okay.
But I see Dan made it over to Maz's house, so that's good.
Bring the beer? Did you bring the beer, Dan?
He should be right next to you, isn't he? Right next to you. But Dan or Angela, if either one of you guys, if you have a question for Tevin, fire away.
Angela's
Okay.
driving.
I'm not driving. I'm waiting. It's kind of a sensitive subject, I guess you could say. But do you feel like the weather community has been welcome to you?
Hi,
Because
Angela.
he's on the 30 under 30 or what?
Well, I mean,
I think I know where you're getting at. Being a person of color and a queer person of color at that, it's different for me. In my experience, I don't know what it's like for everyone, so I can't speak to that. I will say for me personally, for the most part, 95% of the people that I interact with, the bosses, the managers, the colleagues, the people in the weather, water, and enterprise industry and climate industry, everyone has been mostly welcoming. I think it's what is, I don't want to say not welcoming, but what is a little bit more standoffish sometimes is not being brought out when you are a minority amongst a group of people who don't look like you or who think like you or whatever that may be. So sometimes it's a little bit standoffish in that way, but I don't think that's anything intentional. I think that's just what we have to, as a human, overcome. I say that one example is I was often one of the only few Black people in my class, be it at Florida State or at Arkansas. And there were times where, I just sit off in the corner by myself, but that wasn't the worst thing in the world, because in those moments, especially in class, my job is to go to class. It's not to make friends. But there are conferences that we go to now, as a part of AMS or NWA, professional societies, where we still have a lot of ground to cover in getting minorities to the forefront, being people of color, being women, queer people specifically too. All of those things that make us a diverse group, we have to almost uplift. And it's not to say that you're not uplifting someone, but you have to uplift in a way that puts them in a spot such that they can feel empowered or emboldened to speak.
Well, we love you, man. Just to let you know.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Maz. Even though you didn't invite me over to the house with the
Right.
the virtual
I didn't get
couch
that
and the
invite
virtual
either.
beer. Yeah.
Tevin, I'll send it to you in email, okay?
He even said he
Tevin,
liked bourbon. Jeez.
Yeah, Tevin, I've got a I don't know, Phil, if this this is best done during the break, but
Yeah. Oh,
I do
okay.
have.
Go ahead.
I do have to say something though, Tevin. Like, if you're going to continue to work in Boston on air, you're gonna have to learn to drop your R's a little bit. Like you really don't have the Boston twang. That awful hideous kind of accent that they use up there. You know, you got to get into it, man.
Says the Canuck.
The bar. We're going to the bar. We're going to the bar.
You betcha.
You betcha. It's funny because being from Arkansas, everyone says, well, you don't have an Arkansas accent. And I do when I go home, right? Or when I'm talking with some of my family members, it's a bit more, when you're a bit more comfortable to lower your guard a little bit. But even being here, you would be surprised at the similarities in the accents and it may not be the exact accent, but some of the words that are accented here are accented there too.
Really? Eh?
Or I guess
you just got to hit that a little harder. That's just one guy's opinion.
So my Worcester has to be hotter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's bot time.
He's good. He's
got to go to Wahlburger more often, and
Dan, do you, question for Tevin?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You've said so many inspirational things tonight. Who was your inspiration to pursue meteorology?
Ooh. Man, holy crap. That's a big one because I don't know. Everyone, can I say that? Let's see. I'll give you a couple of people because it happened at different stages in life where things just really started to connect. When I was back home in Arkansas, I think I used to watch Melinda Mayo a lot, who is one of the longer tenured meteorologists in Arkansas. She works at KTV Channel 7 in Central Arkansas. Greg D, who used to be in Arkansas, then Cleveland. Now he's in Tampa. He's been a great inspiration. Of course, on national, Sam Champion, Al Roker, all of those guys, even though they came from a different time, so their credentials are a little bit different. But they still, in terms of communicating and being that person on TV, they still, are there and they're out in their own rights and respects. Janice Huff, one of the bigger mentors and persons of inspiration that I've always had. I could text her right now and she would say, "What do you need? I'm coming to you. I can do it. What do you need?"
Let's do it.
Tell her you need her to come on the podcast. Her channel won't let her come on, so she says. But we'll. I don't know if that's real or not.
Her bosses are different than mine, so my bosses are down the street. Her bosses are in 30 Rock. So,
got it. All right. Well, we're gonna do this. We're gonna come back. I will start with some questions. We'll maybe just go another 10 minutes with the questions, and then we are gonna hear. And Tevin, that is the sound. It's for our lightning round. So we're going to play a little game show with you before we finish our second segment.
Is Angela okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to vomit. I'm like,
what the heck?
It's called a work.
I don't know
all
what
right.
that
Well,
is.
I'm putting you back in the studio because I'm about to get sick. See you, Dan.
Where did Jen go? What happened to Jen?
She was rebooting. She was going to jump on. Oh, no, that's not her.
She said reboot.
We just
not
lost
Wooten.
Tevin.
Come back. There
Oh,
it
there
is.
he
all
is.
right. Hang on for a split second. Hang on.
Okay. Shh.
I'm waiting.
He's doing a cut in. Live cut in.
Okay. Sorry.
Was that a live cut in?
No, not yet.
call?
They did one about 10 minutes ago. So
Phone
I
call?
Wow, you were fast.
no, I didn't
Oh
do
my
one.
God,
Someone
Phil.
else did.
We should just keep it rolling while he does one. Oh my God, that'd be so good for the show. It would seem legit.
The FCC might actually get me, so I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
All right.
Oh,
I like
you're
I like my
30.
job, guys.
Neither of our viewers would mind.
Serena's mom and
I was
Maz's
gonna
wife.
say, yeah, my mom.
Are they in Boston or in the area?
He's in everybody.
No, they're elsewhere. They're elsewhere,
Okay.
and they can't. They're not watching tonight. My dad got stung by a bee and had to use his EpiPen and is in the
Oh, no.
hospital. So that's
my
like
goodness.
crazy. So, Mom, I know you're a big fan. If you're listening, I hope Dad's feeling better.
I hope so too. Shout out to Serena's dad.
Now he'll make a
EpiPens.
website, right, Greg?
All right, and I am going to do a quick shout out to Steve Collier is actually listening too. So Josh and Steve are back there. But all right,
What
so
up,
let's
Josh
do
and
this.
Steve?
We are coming back in 3, 2. All right, welcome back to the show. We got Tevin Wooten. And Tevin, we talked a little bit about this during break. But here's my question. I think, I'll say this. I don't know anybody in the, and I might even say STEM field, but certainly to me in the meteorological field that really has any diversity issues, right? But it definitely, the weather field is one that's not extremely diverse. It's getting better, but it's not very diverse. And so my question to you is really twofold. Is number one, what have been some of the challenges that you've faced because you're a Black gay man as a meteorologist? What have been some of the challenges you have faced, honestly? And how are you using that to now reach out as we try to increase our diversity in this industry? How are you using that to really tell your story or to reach out where maybe people didn't reach out for you?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a really good question, Phil. And doing things like this, quite honestly, allows me to be a vessel to a much larger story at play here. I know for me personally, some of the challenges entail being the only person of color in a room, be it a classroom or a newsroom at times, or going out to getting different roles potentially. They're very niche already in this industry, and we're at a time where, and I was just talking with one of my colleagues, not here in Boston, but someone in the industry about this. Only about 5% of meteorologists in the country are people of color. 5%.
That's crazy in 2022. Like
in 2022,
wow.
and I'm glad you said why. It's because it's not the fault of any single person. I want to make sure everyone understands that. But it has to do with systematic issues from decades ago when women or when people of color weren't allowed to get education. Well, if they can't get education, then they can't be a scientist. And if they can't be a scientist, then how on earth can they get in this role? So if you look several years ago, several decades ago, that's been one thing. And then there's also, I think about, I can't remember her last name, but Catherine, who was a hidden figure, who helped, forgive me for my memory slipping here, she helped calculate some of the mathematics that sent Apollo to the moon, I believe. I forget the exact mission, but we've all heard the story. And you've seen the movie, and obviously it's a movie, so some of that I'm sure was, made for production because it had to fit a 2-hour film. But there are a lot of truths to that, and we kept someone out of a room who was able to recourse a mission and get those guys back to Earth.
And that's probably one story of like many that are like that, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. There are thousands of hidden figures out there, and that's why I don't think the role that I am in right now, I am so fortunate. I am glad. I think that's what I was put on this earth to do. But I know that my story is not unique. My story is not more important than someone else's. So to get back online with the question here from Phil, some of the challenges have been getting to those rooms where you do have a voice. And then once you're in the room with the voice, okay, now who's going to actually let you talk, or who's going to allow you to talk? Because you're still the only person in that room. So how do you feel empowered to be able to speak up in order to voice an opinion, or in order to bring an issue to the top of the priority list? And that's where it comes into sort of play for everyone. We have to allow an equitable environment, not an equal environment, right? But an equitable environment. And I think ultimately that is how we make this industry better, specifically as TV. I know that everyone says, oh, well, TV is a dying medium. No one's watching. well, no one's watching because a lot of the people who have been in some of the roles have been there for decades and eons. And that's not to say that they're not deserving, but you have to figure out a way to branch out to grow your audience. And in part, it's, does my meteorologist look like me? Or here's a better example to say, not just because a meteorologist looks like them, but I can give you hundreds of times where my little small town in rural Arkansas was not on a map. But now what I do intentionally, be it here in Boston or when I worked at the Weather Channel or when I worked back in Arkansas, I would call out the towns that aren't on the map because oftentimes those are the ones that are overlooked. That at the very least means, hey, we still have not forgotten about you. Bringing equity in that situation, but also bringing equity to situations where we can bring more people of color and more women of color into a room.
Well said.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. Do you does it ever sort of get for you? I don't know if this is the right word, but kind of normalize that you're talking about this all the time, or like you seem to have all the right answers when we're asking it, but is that like just part of your daily routine now?
Honestly, yeah, it's a part of my daily routine now. I guess by chance that I've gotten into, well, I don't want to say it's by chance. There's always design, right? Be it my design or God's design or the universe's design. I am on, I think, 5 or 6 different boards with either a national organization or, mostly national organizations with AMS or Florida State. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I probably am. It's taxing, it's tiring, but someone has to do it. And I would rather do the work while I'm able to physically and emotionally and put in my time to do that while I can. So that way, at the very least, it might be miles easier for the next Tevin that comes along in 20 or 30 years.
Listen, dude, you have to remember that somewhere out there right now, there's some little kid, he's 10, 11 years old, and he's looking at your story, he's watching on television, and he's like, I want to do that,
Yeah.
And even if he's not reaching out, even if you don't hear it every day, that kid is out there, and there's probably a lot more than one. Good for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
And Tevin, I have to ask you, I saw you post on LinkedIn how NBC had all the meteorologists out of like every station in the country. You guys all came together and, had a conference or just, several meetings. Did this topic come up at all, during that event? And did you feel like a sense of camaraderie that like the industry is changing and it is, but, to the full scope of like, wow, like we really see the future and it's amazing.
Sure. I mean, I'm glad you thought that was a professional event. That means my LinkedIn post worked because it was a huge party. No, I'm just kidding.
She's just a stalker.
No, honestly, this particularly like in the way that we're mentioning it now in this intimacy, it didn't come up, but a lot of, in a very niche way, it was also mentioned because it wasn't just, African-American meteorologists in the room. NBC also has a sister property, which is Telemundo. We had a very large presence of Spanish-speaking meteorologists in the room who are doing fantastic things. I mean, there are times where I'm like, man, if I understood Spanish to the level of it being spoken, I would love to click on to Telemundo. They are doing some fantastic stuff. And those are the voices who oftentimes are not heard sometimes. So have to, go ahead.
Can I get really serious for a minute? Yeah. NBC 10 or Weather Channel, which is better?
Oh, Maz.
Wow.
You're putting me on the spot. Well, one pays me right now, so we'll just leave it at that. Maz has left the building.
Oh, I didn't hear the answer. What was it?
So I'll answer it this way. Someone says, if Florida State and Arkansas played a game, which team would you root for? And I'll say, well, I lived in one state for 20 years and I'm still paying one state tuition. So which one's more important to you?
I don't know.
Seems like he's passing the buck.
Tevin, I've got a super quick question. when it comes to covering weather and all like the disasters, unfortunately, that you've had so far, what was like the most eye-opening, powerful one for you? Because I know you were out in the field a lot for the Weather Channel, but like what was one that kind of like changed your life and perspective and maybe how you tell the weather story and give the forecast?
Jen, that's a tough one. And you know this too, because you've been around it. They're each different in their own right. Because you could have a Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane that impacts a less populated area. All of a sudden, the dollars and the voice and the outreach of support that happens in that less populated area versus if it's a huge metroplex that gets hit with a storm of the same magnitude, all of a sudden the conversation changes. And so I would say from a social science, that's just been one of the biggest things that's been eye-opening is conveying one of my old colleagues used to call me Mr. Aftermath, and conveying that I think has been the biggest eye-opening experience for me, because you went into people's homes or what's left of their house, if there's anything left, when they're in their most vulnerable state. And you have to be extremely sensitive with those stories. And that's where, everything in the atmosphere is connected, right? Well, everything in your life and in your journey is connected too. My journalism experience from the University of Arkansas, 2000% prepared me to go to the Lafayette, Louisianas of the world and go to the South Floridas of the world or the Central Mississippis of the world and tell those stories. So I think, I don't know, it's hard to pinpoint one specific storm, but I'll just say as a whole, the experience, the big takeaway for me has been to be extremely fragile with people. And the support will come back to you, right? The rewards will come back to you. It's not, I never went out there once saying, we got to get on this because this is a major headline and this is going to earn thousands of millions of dollars. That was never my thought. Like I never wanted you want to get to the heart of the storm, right? You want to get to the storm to truly understand it, because that's the meteorologist in you. But I never once said, I want to do this because it's going to come back, to show positive on me. That's not why I did what I did. I did it because I could help other people. And that's, I'm doing what I love and I'm able to help other people. So it's a win-win, right?
I love that. It was so powerful, Tevin.
Well, Tevin, so that's the sound. It's the sound of our lightning round. So, Tevin, this is our game show of flashy and brilliant questions that we always get to play with our guest. And tonight we're going to play a good one. You're going to like this. I think Jen's going to like this, but we're going to call it Seeing Double.
I like it.
Seeing Double. So what this is I'm going to give you the name of a celebrity, and you have to tell me if they have a biological twin or not.
Okay.
Ooh. All right. So these are all celebrities, and some are going to have biological twins, and some won't that we know of. I'll say that, right?
Do they
Does that
have
make sense?
biological twins?
But I don't know what other. It's not like
not like a
brother from another mother or sister from a
Right.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking
from another
doppelganger.
Mister.
Okay.
You mean legitimate birth, like fraternal or identical twins?
Yeah, that isn't that the same thing. Not the same thing.
That's the same thing. I think Naz was thinking.
He confused the shit out of me already, so I don't know.
Get it together,
Mark.
Naz. Come on,
My
in your
job
virtual
is
world
done.
there.
Mark that for MJ. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let's start this off. I'm going to give you the name of a celebrity, and you just have to tell me twin or not a twin. Does that make sense? And the freaks, they always can kind of help out a little bit. I wouldn't listen to them because they're usually wrong.
Sometimes.
So here we go. So the first one is Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson, does she have a twin or not a twin?
No, we would have
No
heard
twin?
about it by now.
She has a twin, Hunter.
What?
Hunter Johansson.
No way.
I'm not making that up. I'm serious.
Okay, Jen, we're 0 for 1. We're 50%. What is it? Wrong 100% of the
Or
time.
100 right now.
That's
yeah.
right. So you're a meteorologist. You're good. You're good.
So
okay.
not identical twins.
Yeah,
Right, fraternal or identical.
Correct.
Right.
It's a twin. They're not necessarily identical. Biological twin.
Okay, gotcha. Biological.
Illogical twin. Okay, next one. I always get her name wrong. Giselle.
Giselle Bündchen?
Not Giesel. Giselle Bündchen.
No.
That's Tom Brady's wife.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's
Does she have a twin or no?
No.
She's got a twin, Patricia.
Wow.
Patricia. All right.
Phil, did you get these from Wikipedia?
That might have. I'll
Hey,
give you
Phil,
my source later. I'll look it up.
Phil, if you have Patricia's number, could you maybe pass her number on to me?
All right, next one.
Research, just for research.
Idris Elba. Does he have a twin or no?
I'm gonna say no. I'm just gonna stick with my nose here.
That's correct.
Never 3 in a row.
Does not have a twin that we know of. All right, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks.
Yes.
You're a good meteorologist, Tevin. You're one for 4 so far.
All
Chris
right.
Spalding can look a thing.
All right, next one. Linda Hamilton. Linda Hamilton.
Who the hell
Who
is
is
Linda?
that?
I don't even know who that is.
Linda Hamilton? From Terminator.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Jen's tweet is cheating.
No.
No, she's looking at
looked it up
Giselle's.
after the fact.
I was looking at Giselle's.
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, okay. I
We
thought
all
that was-
wanna
Me, I'm
see
gonna do the
Giselle's
same thing
twin.
after this too.
All right.
Call me.
Linda Hamilton, you don't know her, so doesn't matter.
No.
Terminator.
She does. Or,
Oh.
yeah, she does have a twin, but you don't know her, so I'll just give it to you anyway. All right, Iman. So she's a big
Model.
supermodel. Iman.
Yeah.
Who is that?
All right, we'll move on. All
My
right, Ashton
generation.
Kutcher.
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher.
I forget I'm talking to a 30 under 30 or
Yeah.
whatever
Right,
person. That's
right.
probably
Did you just
the problem.
Are we
pronounce it
saying yes,
Kutcher?
Jen?
Kutcher.
Robin.
Isn't it Kutcher?
Kutcher.
Kutcher.
No, it's not. It's Kutcher. Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher.
I'm from
Kutcher.
Boston.
Jen
From
says
Boston.
yes.
Shut
I'm
up.
gonna say,
No, that's Canada.
I
Okay.
think he does.
let's go yes. Why not?
Greigels? Yeah.
He does. Michael Kutcher.
The lesser known
All right.
brother.
Butcher.
Ben Stiller. Do you know who Ben Stiller is?
I do know who Ben Stiller is. I don't know if he has a twin.
I think so.
What do you think,
Stiller.
I want to.
Bob? So is that a twin or no twin?
I hear his twin brother's name is Jammin. Because he's been jamming.
Oh,
Wow.
oh my God. Okay.
No idea.
I'm going to just give you the buzzer for that comment. All right. Next one. He doesn't have a twin we know of. Kiefer Sutherland. Do you know who Kiefer Sutherland is?
Looks just like his dad,
He's Canadian.
Donald Sutherland.
We're saying yes? Okay.
I
Go
think
for
so.
it.
What do you say? You saying yes?
Gregor says yes. Jen says yes.
He
Devin
does.
says yes.
Rachel Sutherland.
These
All
are
right.
tricky.
Sandra Bullock.
No. We would have heard about her.
Correct. Very correct.
Andy's
All
very
right,
much a
last
family
one.
person.
Last one. Vin Diesel.
You're looking at him.
Really?
For some reason, I want to say
Vin Diesel
yes.
Johnson.
For Vin Diesel. For
No.
some reason, I want to say
No.
yes.
Yes. Let's go
Vin
yes.
Diesel.
Why not,
Vin
Jen?
Diesel.
Yes.
But no.
That is a yes. That is a yes.
Wait. Can someone tell me my accuracy now? I feel like we at least got to about 80% there.
50%.
You started slow, but you ended strong.
That's all
You
that
do well in
matters, right?
baseball. Just saying.
Vin Diesel's twin brother is Paul Vincent. I guess he
Thanks for
didn't
the help,
change his
man.
name. He should go by Paul Diesel, probably. All right, Tevin. That was a good show for a meteorologist. Good job. Good showing. So tell our listeners, where can they find you on social media?
All right, ready? It's a big one. I've got a link tree. You can go linktree.com/Tevin Wooten for everything. There's a TikTok, Weatherman Tev. There's Twitter and Instagram. It's at Tevin Wooten. Facebook is facebook.com/Tevin Wooten TV. My website is tevinwooten.com. And of course, you can check us out on Peacock and NBCBoston.com too.
How come it's 7 Wooten when you're at 10?
But
That's a good question. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, it's time for our final break. We definitely have more to come, including some hashtag weather fools, and Trollbot is back. So stay tuned.
Trollbot.
Tevin, great job.
Thanks, guys.
Before you go, do me a quick favor. If
Yes.
you can give us a sound bite and just say, hey, this is Tevin Wooten of NBC Boston, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Wait, let me write that down. That's a lot. Oh my gosh.
It's always better if you try and say it from
Tevin,
memory.
you're supposed to be a pro here, dude.
The drunk
Tevin
guests
Wooten.
always get it.
This is Tevin Wooten from NBCBoston.com, and you're listening to
Well,
Storm
wait. Maz was talking. He's got to shut
Stormfront
up.
Freaks podcast. That's the part.
That's good.
The tricky
Yeah.
part. You could say a lot of other F words there.
He was just practicing.
You can say
Do
a
I need
lot
to
of
look in the
F words,
camera, or is
too.
it
That's
just
fine.
the audio? Or do you have to...
Just, listening. Just say you're listening.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hi, guys. It's meteorologist Tevin Wooten at NBC Boston, and you're listening to Storm Freak from... Oh, fudge.
Yeah. We got one for the blooper reel.
All right, here we go. Let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. Hi, guys. It's meteorologist Tevin Wooten at NBC Boston, and you're listening to Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Yeah. Good
Nice.
job.
That's awesome.
Very good.
So we
Thanks,
finally
everybody.
have a blooper. Finally,
Yeah.
somebody messed up. Is that
Oh,
what you're
wow.
Yeah.
The first person.
Cantori did it in one take, just so you know.
I know some secrets about Cantori that I'll never tell. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
He's a nice guy. He's a really
Hey,
nice guy.
we'll edit it out. We promise.
I remember he was just so much shorter in person when I first met him. I was like, really? It was very interesting.
That means I'm going to
Um,
be about 6'4" when we eventually meet, Serena.
Oh, it's happening because we live like 60 miles away. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm also not 6'4". You'll be highly upset.
No, but he is tall. He is tall.
Dan, Angela, either one of you guys have a quick question for Tevin before he takes off? We good? You guys good?
Can you
All
hear
right.
us?
They're good. Well, Tevin, thank you. So,
Thank you guys so
what we
much.
do is we edit this and we upload it usually on Sunday.
Okay.
So it's usually available Monday, and I'll do some Twitter posts or something and
Perfect.
tag you
Great.
on it, just so you know it's available.
But because of
awesome.
daylight
Thanks,
savings
guys.
time, gonna be a while.
Maz, Jen, Phil, Gregor, Serena, Dan, and Angela as well. Thank you guys so much.
Tevin, that was a great time. Thank you.
It was fun.
You're so
See you,
awesome.
bud.
Good job, buddy.
Let's do
Good
it
job.
again. My God.
Yes, we will. I love Tevin.
All right.
Good guy. Good guy.
Very
He's a good
nice.
guy.
Love the STEM stuff.
All right. So here's my question before we get to this final segment. Do you guys all have your clothes? Not
I
like your
don't.
clothes on,
I do have my clothes
But-
on.
but do you have your?
Oh,
Woo!
Do you have this
Regals up.
part?
I saw your.
You know what that
I-
reminded me
Yes,
of,
our
Gregor,
closing
really quick?
scripts.
Yes.
Remember,
Nipple. Maz saw my third nipple.
Remember
Mardi
Adam
Gras.
Sandler in the
Yeah.
movie, whatever it is, and it's just like, what was the one that he was practicing with his friend? What's that movie? No, but like, where he has to go back to school again to win his, or to get his dad's company,
Back
and
to
he's
school.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and then
It's,
they're in the tent, and he has the tent in the backyard, and then he misses the answer for her. She was taking like things, doing like a strip thing. and then I'm gonna find the clip and I will send it to you guys.
All
And your
right.
friend, when they
Right.
stole that cow, and your friend. Oh, never mind.
I was just
Billy
watching,
Madison, Billy
Jen, I was
Madison.
watching Serena's face as you were trying to explain it, and Serena was like
No, it's
basically bullying you. She was like, "Oh my God, what the hell are you talking about, woman?"
No, because I'm like, oh, that sounds like that movie. And then she said something else, and my brain was like, nope, wrong movie. And so my brain was like, the hamster is on fire, like trying to figure out what movie that was.
it's Billy Madison when he's
That is a
You
good
know-
movie.
it is a good movie,
Never
but
saw
remember and they're going through the things and he's taking off his shirt. But anyway,
Okay.
we're live.
All right. So I just want you to know,
What?
Steve said I was hoping Sandra had a twin.
Yeah, I saw that.
We
I
all
was
were.
also hoping that as well.
Yeah.
Who's
bad.
hotter than Sandra Bullock? Honest
Wah, wah.
to God.
I love Sandra.
Okay. I don't know how to segue from that one. Thank God we're not. We're not. on
Thank
the
God we're
show.
not live in front of.
Serena, did you
Wow.
feel like Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality when you did your
Oh,
whole,
Angela's
thing?
got a dog.
Were
You're driving with a dog?
Was that like? Did you pick it up in the drive-through or what?
Oh.
It's a hot dog.
That's
It's a
Kit.
Mc-
She's like, it came in my Happy Meal with my chicken nuggets.
That's right. Fucking chicken nugget Happy Meals coming to my fucking dingo.
It's not
man.
a
I wonder
dingo.
what Trollbot would have said about that.
It's cute.
All right. So let's do this. Third segment. So everyone, you've got your closing script, correct?
When do we do it?
Closing.
Makes sense.
So I'll still start by saying, hey, that just about does it for this episode.
Yes.
Thanks for listening or watching. Then Jen comes on, talks about
Should we pre-record this?
follows on. I don't fucking know. It's probably going to be a joke, but that's all right. We'll
No,
give
I've got
it
my
a shot.
script right here. I printed it out like you said.
We'll see how it goes. We'll
Yep,
see how it goes.
I've got mine
Okay.
here.
So weather fools. Brady is not here tonight. So I am going to say eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Jen,
Yay!
you introduce weather fools,
Okay.
right, to that, and then I'll bring you in with a little applause, and then you can talk about weather fools. So who has weather fools?
I got one.
There was one that was tagged on social media of that guy driving through a flood. Is anyone using that one?
No, you can. I need to figure out my screen sharing situation. I actually need to talk to like MJ about it because I tried to fix it and it didn't
Well,
work.
fucking MJ's not here tonight.
Bill,
So
I know.
what's plan B?
Phil, who's taking Brady's place on that?
I am.
Oh, did you already? I didn't.
Oh,
say that.
but yeah, in the closing, you're right.
Want me to just keep going? Just right into it. Just special thanks to Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin Wood.
yep. Just
Okay.
keep doing it.
Cool. Okay.
All right, so I have two weather fools then.
Cool. Awesome.
I'm just gonna
Serena
start drinking
2,
from the
Greggles
bottle.
1, Phil
Totally forgot.
5,000. Well done.
Sorry, what's that?
Phil, I will.
I'm glad he's editing.
So
doing an
episode.
amazing job.
Responsible for everything.
I'm not editing shit. MJ is still gonna do that part.
Phil,
Lucky
do you have
him.
any weather fools?
No, I don't. I told you guys to bring them because I got to be trying to control all this stuff.
Oh, that does sound familiar. Yeah.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We got it.
Yeah, I'm pulling a Maz tonight. I got nothing. So, all right. So we got the weather fools. Everybody share your screen. If you're sharing your screen,
Mhm.
I don't see anybody doing it yet.
169 show notes.
Just a second here.
Yep, episode 169. Actually, we should ask this from the webmaster, Greggles. Where do we find show notes now on the website?
Still same thing. Show notes, episode 169, and under the episodes tab right now, they're all still there. But we're gonna kind of work on what that's gonna look like. But yeah, for now, same. Don't change anything for now.
All right.
Okay. Show notes. stormforfreaks.com. Show notes.
All right. So everybody get your, and then Serena, you are introducing Weather Trollbot. Okay. So I've got a couple of those I will share, and then when I'm done with that, I'll start the close. I'll start the close.
I love you, Phil, so much.
A lot of closed discussions.
We're going to talk about clothes.
Jeez, a little cloudy. What is that?
I kind of want to have a shot of tequila. I do have Patron.
Ooh, nice.
Salted.
You know what?
Salted
Wait.
caramel.
Please continue.
I have some honey whiskey downstairs from Cincinnati. It's really good.
Nice. That does sound good.
You should pick some up since you're.
By the
here.
way, Phil, while we're waiting for Jen,
While
I'm
we're
gonna
waiting
pass
for,
on-
I see Serena's the only one sharing her screen. Is that correct?
Sorry, I will share my screen. Hold on a second.
Come on, kids.
But I wanted to let Angela and Dan
Look
and
at that. That's a
Maz
joke.
know.
I want to see you actually open it. I wanted to see you open it and crack the seal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You wasted another perfectly good bottle.
It's delicious.
Maz, Dan, Angela, I want you to go to the homepage for stormfrontfreaks.com. That's the website. And vote for the best beard in storm chasing, please.
Dan, you didn't make the finalists. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you didn't. Sorry.
Where is
Josh.
Yeah, I'm on the
Josh
Do we get
and
website.
compensation
It
for our
looks
vote?
it? Oh man.
Yeah, Josh and Steve, you guys are following along. Go to the homepage, stormfrontfreaks.com, and vote for your favorite weather beard. Best storm chaser beard.
There we
Got
go,
it.
Jen.
I'm not taking this whole thing, guys. I do have a shoot tomorrow. Cheers.
Come on, cheers. Good job. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Jen.
She already had that pre-sealed sparkling water.
Oh my God.
Look,
She drinks a lot, you can tell.
No, it's legit. She wouldn't give that face. It's just water. Jen, I'm proud of you.
Trying to picture you in the old West.
You just grew up tonight. Hey, that'll put hair on your chest. That's good stuff.
Hair on your
So my dad used to always say, it'll put hair on your chest.
Okay.
All right. So who else? So I've got Jen. Are you sharing your screen?
No.
You gonna try? You gonna give it a shot?
No, because it's. Hold on, I'll try.
You got mine, Phil?
Yep, I got yours.
Jen, I never thought of using that excuse before. Yeah, I got one. Hold on. I can't get it to come up. I don't know.
That's what he said.
It says what it always does. It's the sharing was
Oh,
Are you in?
Mac.
yeah.
I have a Mac too, but I use Google Chrome and it works fine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do that next time.
All right.
I'm getting all hot now, the alcohol.
You took a sip. Wow.
Do you know what we used to say when I was younger? You know what we used to say about girls like Jen?
Oh no!
Let's date them.
Oh my god!
I don't know what that means.
I spelled maybe wrong. Sorry, Dan. I'm like, dang it.
Okay. All right. So Jen's not sharing her screen. I got Griggles and Serena. So we are good for Weather Fools. Then Serena, you're introducing Weather Trollbot, and then I'm starting the close, and we'll go from there. Right? We're gonna rock and roll this. Angela, Dan, I'm gonna keep you in the studio. Okay.
You're awesome.
You got any questions about this? We ready to roll?
It's pretty fast.
I'm gonna put this up now. And here we go. Coming in 3, 2.
It is Weather Fools time. One of my favorite parts of the podcast. This is where we catch people doing things they probably shouldn't be doing in crazy wild weather. Now, all of us are guilty, but is the camera rolling? And we've got some great ones for you today. I'm going to kick it off with Griggles. Griggles, what do you have for us to share?
Well, I've got this sweet video. It came from TikTok. I have no idea who or where this is, but clearly, just by the thumbnail that's on the screen, you can see what happens. Now, okay, so it's think about the ice storm, right? So you got ice on the ground, and you get out of the vehicle, and you're thinking, oh, it's not that bad. But I just love that the kid's crying like this. I don't know. It just makes me laugh, makes me smile. So the kid fell down. So then the mom comes out to try to help her. And then the mom goes, whoop. Okay, the mom's down. So then the guy gets out of the car and he's like, oh my God, the woman went down. So I'm going to come and help. Whoop. So listen, guys.
Everybody's
It's icy.
screaming.
Yeah, just, whoop.
Oh no! You had her head
It just
hard,
makes
though.
me laugh.
From that thumbnail, I was like worried that the poor little girl was about to get like run over by a car.
No, she's just really fell and hit her head on the ice. Don't
like
do that, Weather Fools.
Day in the life of Canadians right there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was great, Griggles. All right, Serena, you've got two. Let's
I
see.
do. I've got two Weatherfuls. So the
Awesome.
first one I have is someone who likes to drive through a flood. Please,
every week,
every
every
time.
show, we have one of these.
This one's particularly interesting because of the massive drop off. I don't know how they make
Right.
it. I'm not exactly proud that they made it, but they did. It doesn't take much water to move your car. This guy is beyond lucky. Please don't do this.
His wife right now is screaming at him. She's
Yeah.
like, "You idiot!"
But
You
hey,
son of a.
what great marketing for whatever vehicle that is.
Right.
This is true. And for those of you watch or listening, I should say, that's like 0.3 of a mile. Like that's a wide swath of road with like rushing water. That's not just like a little mini street.
Wait,
No.
that's
Yeah, I
not
don't know if it's
0.3
3/10 of a mile.
And not
But
3/10.
It's a good 50 yards.
It's fine. He shouldn't be doing it. We can all agree he shouldn't be doing it.
He shouldn't be doing it.
All right.
All
And
right.
my second one is a little unusual. Pilots, turns out, can be weather fools too from time to time. Here is a pilot report. So if you guys ever check PyReps or anything like that, the pilot said they almost flipped over from the turbulence on this flight. And I looked on the weather. It looked like there wasn't anything there, but just to be in an airplane and have the pilot say they almost flipped over from turbulence, that's pretty bad. I'm gonna call it a weather fool.
Yes. Oh my God, that's kind of terrifying.
If
Like,
you've
a
ever
little
if you've
bit.
ever been on a flight with turbulence that's bad, you know how terrifying it is.
This
And
was yesterday.
This sounds crazy.
It was yesterday. I went back. I
Oh.
checked the weather. Yeah, it's horrible. I've done, like turbulence test flights, trying to fly through ice, like as much turbulence as possible. It's terrifying. I can't, and I never thought the plane was almost going to flip over. I thought it was going to break in half, but I can't even imagine.
Phil, you're close to that. Do you remember anything?
No, I'll tell you what I will tell you this is that site, that web, I binge that shit all the time. That site is amazing.
What is the site, Phil?
It's pirate.
I can't
Doesn't know.
I think it's on
Amazing.
Netflix.
That's terrifying. So I'm glad I wasn't on that flight. Serena, thank you so much for sharing. And guess what? You can watch these and every single other weatherful we've ever done on our podcast. Go to stormfrontfreaks.com, show notes, and you can get this episode 169.
Okay. I'm going to.
Great job,
Hey,
Phil.
I was
listen,
just writing out the pause.
pushed-
I was like, we'll just
Hey,
go with
listen,
it. It'll be
I
fine.
pushed the button.
Good job.
Mark it. It's 111. Hold on.
All we
I gotta
did
get
was-
this to MJ.
All we did was ask you a question, and that threw you off, didn't it?
I pushed the button. It didn't play the song. So 111.
Can I use that too? I pushed the button.
Cut. Okay. Now I just have to tell MJ. All right. So here we go. Coming back. My introduction and who's coming in? Who's
Me.
doing this one? Okay.
Yeah,
Three,
if this is Trollbot, it's me.
3, 2.
All right, by that sound, you know what time it is. It is time for Trollbot. This is our favorite bot that we have. Phil found this one in a garage sale, reprogrammed it, and it does an amazing thing. It goes out and finds what all these meteorologists say to their trolls, and they say it very nicely. Trollbot translates, and Trollbot tells them what they were actually thinking and says what they really, really wanted to say. So, Phil, what do we have in store today?
All right, so we've got a couple here for you. One of them is from our weather friend Matt Devitt from WINK TV. So this is down in Florida. You guys know, is there something that happened recently in Florida you're familiar about?
Hurricane Ian.
Yeah.
Heard it got a little windy and rainy.
Yeah, so you guys are probably familiar that the fact that with all that going on, and of course, you know what happens when there's always breaking television news during people's primetime television.
Oh no, yes.
So here's the scoop. So this was Scott Eisenberg. So we're never afraid to throw anybody under the bus. But Scott Eisenberg said, please, WINK News and Matt Devitt Wink, get off the air during prime time. We've had enough news. Just because you got knocked off the air, you don't need to make up all the commercial revenue.
Yeah, you do.
So, right. So they just came off, and you guys know there were power outages. There were all kinds of things going on. And, all right, 1:13:28.
I love you so much.
So I'm missing my Weather Trollbot audio here. Hold
You're
on.
missing your brother.
Yes. Yes, I am.
That's good.
Are you Mike Kruzewski? Yes, I am. Here it is. Weather Trollbot. Hold on.
Yeah, join our Patreon. Watch the robbers.
Phil, you're doing a great job. You're doing amazing.
All right. So, okay.
SpongeBob.
Coming
3
back.
hours later.
Coming back in 3, 2. All right, so Matt Devitt, so he comes back, and you guys know our weather friends, they're always very professional. They're very nice in their public social media responses. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt comes back and says over 150,000 homes still don't have power in Southwest Florida, while we simulcast on TV and radio after the deadliest Florida hurricane in 87 years. But Scott, he is upset he can't watch primetime shows in his air-conditioned home right now. Glad you have your priorities straight.
That's
Well
pretty
said.
good, actually.
You know,
I
it's
like
a little
that.
cutting. It's a little cutting, but it's polite and
Pretty
courteous.
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what we do with Weather Trollbot. So this is fun, right? We're going to plug in all this data, all this information into Weather Trollbot. And then she's going to kind of compute. And what she ends up doing is she's going to kick out what Matt was really thinking when he responded to Scott's tweet. Does that make sense? So she does a great job of interpreting. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And then she computes. Here's what we got.
Here is what Matt was really thinking. What a entitled little dick shit. The douchebag is pissed. He can't watch his real love boat. Get a fucking clue, Scott.
That's amazing. That's one of her best ones yet, I have to say.
Pretty good one.
I love when I learn new swears from Trollbot.
Oh, Matt. You know, and I can't blame him. I can't blame him for thinking that, right? All right. And then the last one we have, actually, guys, I got this from Dina. It's unfortunate she's not on the show tonight, but she shared this with me. You guys know Heather Tesh?
Yes.
She's at the Weather Channel.
Yep.
So this came from an individual named Dustin Fryer.
Okay.
And Dustin says, you don't know which way it's going, talking about the hurricane. So stop predicting, you dumb bitch. Shut the fuck up, you stupid ass hoe.
Oh my God.
It's amazing what people will say when they're
Now, was
behind.
this on Twitter?
I don't.
Wow.
I'm not sure. That was Twitter or
Whoa.
Facebook
That's
or
crazy.
it was on social media. I can tell you that
Bold.
much.
Even for a troll, that's bold.
So here's Heather. Heather came back and of course was nice and as nice as you can be after that crap. But said, by the way, the nice thing about social media is being able to hear from my amazing and supportive fans.
Oh, I love that. That's hilarious.
That's great.
But come on. I mean, let's
That's
be
not what
honest.
she was really-
None of us would be thinking that. None of us are thinking that now
No.
after that statement. So the fun part about Trollbot is we get to plug all this data in, and we're going to find out what Heather apparently was really thinking when she responded to Dustin. And here we go.
Here is what Heather was really thinking. LOL. I'm sure you drink way too much, torture small animals, and are a shit stain to your mother. Fucking loser.
Oh my God. She is on fire tonight.
Wow.
Trollbot not pulling any punches.
I like it.
That's amazing.
She is not. So, hey, we always tell our listeners, hey, if any of you come across any of our weather friends getting trolled on social media or email or anything like that, feel free to share that with us either on social media or just send it to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com, and we'll be sure to make sure we have Trollbot interpret that for us. So otherwise, gang, I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. We always want to thank you for listening or watching.
But before we announce the guest of our next show, if you like the show, don't forget to follow the show on your podcast player so you get notified and receive the latest episodes of our show delivered right to your library the moment they get released. Find all the podcast player options at stormfrontfreaks.com, and please help us out and send a friend your favorite episode.
And you can subscribe to our YouTube page and watch previous versions of our recordings of Stormfront Freaks Raw, which is completely unedited. Hear all the great conversations during breaks, including all the crappy ones, and great questions from our VIPs for our guests, and who knows what else gets beeped or edited out of the audio podcast. You can find the link at stormfrontfreaks.com.
Also, visit our website to find our Patreon link to check out all the ways we can do more together while supporting the show. Visit stormfrontfreaks.com to find the Patreon link to join the team, our Raw broadcasts, have access to lots of merch, and even become one of our limited VIPs and join us in the studio with our guests on every show. And a special thanks to our guest, Tevin Wooten.
He loved that lightning round, didn't he?
He did.
Freaks, let's go around and find out how people can follow you guys as well. Greggles, I will start with you.
Tornado Greg on social media, and you can also follow or join or check out my website where I teach about photography, and that's cameraeasy.ca.
Awesome, and I can attest that's very good training. So, Serena.
Everything is WX Serena, CYRENA on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Cool. Maz?
You can find me on Twitter at moneystorm, the number 4, the letter U.
Very good. There's one place you can find Maz, and he's always there, like 24 hours a day.
Got nothing else going on.
All right, Jen.
You can find me on Twitter at @jwatson_WX, and then Instagram, TikTok, Jennifer Weather, and also jenniferweather.com.
And you can find me. I'm usually tweeting on Twitter at StormfrontFreak.
Awesome. So, hey, for our next episode, we're going to be back in 2 weeks, recording live on November 10th with legendary chaser and owner of Silver Lining Tours, Roger Hill. Patreon members can join our raw video recording live, and the edited audio podcast will be available to everyone else the following Sunday.
Sounds great. All right, everybody, for Greggles, Serena, Jen, and Maz, and Dan and Angela, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we will catch everybody next time. Good night.
Bye.
Hey, Serena, was either your mom or dad in broadcasting?
No.
Got a good voice.
No, she doesn't. It's the mic.
It's the mic.
It's all the mic.
I want
What
one.
mic is it?
We're
What mic is it?
all gonna get that mic. It's
It's the Samsung.
Phil, I love you
Q2U.
drinking. You are.
Yeah,
What
feels
are you
like
drinking?
Serena,
Phil's hitting hard tonight.
Is it again?
just one more time
that's some
for
good
me.
stuff.
Just
Oh,
one more
salted
time.
caramel?
I couldn't. I
You need
never
to come
thought
down to
it could
Jack
happen to
Daniels.
me.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
My mom is
agree.
our biggest
And
fan of
amazing.
the show.
It's
I'm not
so
a huge
tender.
whiskey fan, but
Wow.
You do have a good audiobook voice. Should get on that
Just had a
bandwagon.
young Frankenstein
hey,
moment.
did you do
Angela,
your book,
Angela,
Serena?
an audio book?
No, I didn't.
Really?
Yeah,
You
she
should've.
does.
All right, I'll do
She
it
has a
next
very
time.
calming
You didn't
voice.
have the mic then, though. That's the problem. You didn't have the mic when that audio book came out, right?
Oh, no, I don't have an audiobook.
Oh,
No.
you don't? You don't have
No.
that? Okay, on audio?
No.
Well,
No, it takes me like a minute
There
and
you
a half
go.
to read that. So
Not true. Not when you're reading your grandkids.
here's what you can do, Serena. Read it, and then at the end of reading it, talk about where people can get it, and we will post it on our podcast
Oh,
on one of the off weeks. And
Okay.
we'll publicize it and say, hey, here's audio book, and the author's reading it, and do.
sounds
Whoa,
great.
what was that?
I wasn't. Sorry, I'm not allergic to your idea. I just said to sneeze all of a sudden.
Wow.
Phil, you know what also
Well,
be fun?
screw
So
you.
one
If you
week-
don't like my idea, just
I
tell
love
me.
it. I love
You
the
don't
idea.
have to
It's a
make
good-
faces about it.
Phil, 1 week you post Serena reading the book like you just described, and then the
With
next
that
week,
microphone. With that
edit
microphone.
out or edit in some beeps, some random beeps in there.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
That would be
Yes,
hilarious.
that is
Oh
good
my
idea.
That is pretty good.
Unnecessary.
We'll have the kids
censorship.
version and the adult version.
Wow.
That would be
have
pretty
you guys
amazing.
heard of Samuel L. Jackson reads that kids book, Go the
No.
Fuck to Sleep? Have you
Hey,
guys?
that book is amazing. That's a real book. No,
Okay.
could you
Oh,
imagine?
look what I got.
Whoa!
Oh, you got the game.
I
Sweet.
did. I
Where'd
got
you
Cool.
get it, Jen?
Target.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. It's the most hilarious thing in the world.
It is weird, man. He's fucking spin a tornado and
It's like a dreidel.
yeah, right. Dreidel.
Like,
However that
Made
sounds.
it out of clay.
Cradle,
Oh, we're still live, by the way.
Cradle I will play.
Oh, we
All
are
right.
still live. Yeah.
All right.
Oops.
Well, this is good, you guys.